right. We are live. How's everybody doing in chat? Hello, everybody. Hello in the Discord.
We got Moyu Munger saying, cool to finally catch you all live.
You get to see how the show's made in the background, right? Isn't that cool? Yeah.
Yep. In the background.
I'm gonna pull up the chat again so I can see what's going on in the Discord community. I know you keep an eye on the chat, but just in case.
I tried to, yep.
And I just long press on it, right? On my phone. Let's see if that works.
Yeah, on your phone you long press and then there's an option to just open the text chat.
Perfect. There we go. All right. Good deal. How's everybody doing tonight? Can everybody hear us okay in the chat, in the round table, on the YouTube channel? Can everybody hear us okay? Can you hear Kingsley? Can you hear myself?
Hello.
Just making sure. Just doing a little sound check here. Okay. Quick drink of water and let's get this rolling.
Yep.
We had a third tonight, but he's not here. Hope he's okay. We'll integrate him later in the show if we need to. So, all right. Okay, here we go. Hey, what's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 293 of Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, Todd the Gator, and I'm a day one Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. For those of you who may have just discovered our podcast, we are a weekly Destiny gaming show and have been producing audio episodes for over 5 years now. Things have changed a little over the years and our show has grown. And one of those changes is that we've decided to produce a live version of our show on YouTube and in our Discord stage channel where you can interact with us live in the chat on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I usually put a reminder in the Discord. That's discord.gg/Guardian Downcast if you want to join our community. We also have a replay of tonight's show on my YouTube channel. And of course, the audio version will always be available for our podcast listeners. And you can also go to our website, guardiandowncast.com, and listen to any of our back episodes on demand. Well, this week it is our monthly Roundtable episode. For those of you who may be new to the podcast, once a month we produce a roundtable episode whereby members of our community bring a topic, story, article, or just a point of view to the table. The topics can be anything related to the gaming industry, entertainment, social media. I mean, basically anything that pertains to our hobby of gaming life. Each of us will introduce our topic and give our opinions and takes on it, but then we go around the table and everyone else chimes in and adds to the topic of conversation. In this month's Roundtable episode, I have my co-host from the great state of Utah, Mr. Kingsley Mack. How are you tonight, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we've both been having a bout of sleep problems for different reasons, but
I am tired. I was trying to talk myself into not feeling tired, but yes, I am tired.
Yeah, we're both. This is the sleep deprived episode I was just mentioning earlier. We had another guest episode, another guest on our podcast tonight, but for some reason he is not here. So maybe he's had an emergency or something. We'll bring him in later in the show if we need to. RNG Gator is off tonight, but he did bring a topic that we're going to mention before we get to our topics, Kingsley. Before we get into that, I wanted to mention what RNG mentioned earlier about the latest Destiny news, and that I've been talking about how you should go back. For the new players, we should reopen the Red War campaign, right? We should get back to the Red War, the beginning of Destiny 2. We need to get back to our origins. And there's been a couple articles out this week that where Bungie has publicly admitted that it would be impossible to just bring it back to the game, that they would have to recode a bunch of things. And there's another article that said that it's no longer available for internally or externally. So any comments on this before we move on?
Oh yeah. I mean, if we're getting into it right now,
I might as well. What the heck?
Yeah. Well, okay. This started with an article that came out with like the lawsuit with, I guess, what was the lawsuit? I wasn't even aware of this.
There was a gentleman who said that his intellectual property was stolen they said there was a lot of similar things about his science fiction novel he wrote, or short story maybe even, that was too closely identified with Gaul and the Red War campaign, and they've been in court battling over.
Oh yeah,
So
that's right.
yeah,
And in the lawsuit, I guess because maybe they would need to see what that meant. Bungie
right.
says, well, there is no way to see it right now. Now,
Yeah,
the thing is like, well, that's kind of obvious right now. Like, I already knew that. We already kind of know this. It's not like Red War they're secretly still playing it in the Bungie studios, because they told us when they sunset content way back Beyond Light, I think that's when it was, right? Beyond
yeah,
Light is when they did all the sunsetting.
yeah. That's when. Yeah,
Um, yeah, they said that everything that was going forward had to be recoded. Remember, there was the whole discussion with the engine. What it wasn't the base engine, but it was the graphical part.
right,
And they said that they had to recode all the graphics to for the stuff that's still in the game. And in theory, the idea was when they bring stuff back, or if they bring stuff back, we'll get
right,
into this whole discussion,
right.
that would have to be recoded too. So I just want to start with that point first. It is
Yeah,
true, Bungie can't just magically make the Red War stuff showable for a court case because they haven't recoded it yet. So, but then, so to me, this wasn't even news. Like, but people started taking it way worse than I feel like they should take it. Um, and then Tessie came out with an article that I felt like he
mm-hmm.
kind of made some incorrect points. Usually, I feel like he's pretty, his at least his facts are straight, even though people don't always like the opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But he said in an article that, and he was contradictory to himself too. He said in the article that the data is gone.
Right.
But then, I don't believe that, by the way. But then he said halfway through the article, well, it's not really gone, but they would have to recode it. Okay, yeah, we know that. That's what the other article was already saying.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end again, he implied that the data was gone again. So now everyone's reading this article like it was deleted, like there's no way it's coming back. So this is just drama all around, because first of all, I think it's not deleted. I mean, it can't be deleted because they already have brought some stuff back. Remember we had the haunted Leviathan, the derelict Leviathan.
Yeah, that's right.
If the data was deleted, then how did they bring that part back?
Yeah, that wouldn't have been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just sad, the fact that they're saying that the Leviathan raid will most definitely not be back. So I was a little sad there.
But
yeah.
But on that point, I'm telling everyone, well, I already kind of knew that because A, it hasn't come back yet, and B, they have less employees now. So how the hell would they ever bring it back?
Yeah.
Right? No one wants to hear that, but that's what I've been saying for a while now. And now everyone's believing me. Oh, it's not coming back. Like I'm telling you guys, it wasn't coming back, because how can they? They just don't have the time.
Right.
So I'm kind of laughing on that point, and then I'm kind of sad on the other point that people think it's deleted. I don't think it's deleted. It's just it can technically come back, but realistically it won't, because it's a lot of work and they just don't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
In the back of my mind, I've always been thinking about this lawsuit. And, I remember Luke Smith coming out at that point in time saying, the game's just too big. It's just gotten too big. So we gotta fold some of it in and put it in the vault, And honestly, I always thought that was a load of bull. I'm just being honest. Too big, really? Okay. Too big a game. Right. Okay. I never believed that when they said that. I just had a hard time believing it, but, I always had in the back of my mind, maybe there's an internal memo that no one talks about Red War anymore because of this lawsuit overhanging. And if it is true, if they did use some of the elements of his science fiction story, then pay the man something. Give him something. You made a ton of money on this game. Give him something. Sony's got deep pockets, but another side of me says, listen, as a content creator myself, we get inspired all the time by things we see and watch all the time, and we just give our interpretation of it. So maybe it's just, something, maybe it's under interpretation that it was, maybe that story was, inspiring to some of the devs in Bungie when they came out with it. So I don't know, man. It's just the whole thing's a mess.
I really don't think they removed it because of the lawsuit stuff. There's no way, because again, part of the Leviathan's still around, and even though the campaign's gone, they didn't get rid of the EDZ and stuff, and you still have the Cabal. If it was truly the lawsuit issue, we wouldn't even have the Cabal in the game.
That's true too.
So it's always best to think of the easiest answer, and the easiest answer has been all along, it's too much work to bring it back yet.
Okay.
It could still happen way down the road. It could, but realistically, it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah. Well,
So,
that was kind of the elephant in the room this week. So I wanted to make sure we got that out just front and center.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
good discussion, but I hope that there's revision to the one article, or even Bungie clarifies something. Not that they would want to on this, but like, I could almost like stake like $1,000 bet on, they didn't delete it. They always archive stuff. Yeah, it's not playable, but that's a different point than being deleted. And so I really find it irresponsible that people are saying that it's gone, because that's not technically true.
Okay.
The Destiny 1 stuff's not gone either. And then they bring it back from time to time also and include it in the game. You know?
Yeah,
So,
very, very true. Well, we got so much to cover tonight, and our special community guest Roundtabler has decided to make it tonight. Just kidding, Deadful. Just kidding. So we're going to bring him up on the stage. I'm going to put, for our YouTube members out there, I'm going to just put it to an intermission screen while we do a little housekeeping here. We'll be right back. All right. I'm going to go to...
Maybe we should have taken a break right before we got into that topic, because
That's okay.
Your video is out of sync. Did you see those comments? Even in Discord, you're out of sync. So like, your source is out of sync.
Is it really? Like my voice is not matching up? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm seeing it too. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go to intermission.
It's not bad, but it is a little bit, and people can notice it, and I can notice it too. But if you can't figure it out, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world.
I don't know what I can... Oh, you know what it could be? I know why. It's my stupid voice changer. Let me just turn that off. There we go. All right. I should know better. I should have known better to try that tonight. Let me see. Yeah, let's do a test here. How's my voice matching up now that it's not going through a third party? Is it about the same?
Maybe a stitch better.
Well, remember, there's like a good 10-second delay here between YouTube.
No, I'm not talking about YouTube. I'm talking about in Discord.
You're talking about Discord? Let me see. Hello.
Your main source is out of sync somehow.
I still see.
It's better, but
I can see myself. Okay.
Yeah, but what we're all seeing, and so like something on your computer is delaying. Maybe it's in Discord or something. I don't know, but
crap.
Okay. Anyone on YouTube, can you let us know if he's out of sync? Maybe.
Yeah, I'm just curious if my voice is out of sync on YouTube. If it is, let us know. I can always restart the stream if I need to. I hate that stuff when it happens. Technology. No, I'm not downloading movies, zombie. I don't have like porn running in the background. Geez, why did I just go there? Never mind. All right, let's bring can you go and bring him up on stage? We'll go ahead and
oh yeah, I will do that.
Real quick. People will hear a video.
You can now
Yep.
Figured I had a very eventful morning this morning, so yeah. And on up.
I feel like we all barely made it. I'm off what? Oh, on your YouTube thing? I look great in Discord. You're up. It's your responsibility for YouTube. Had a fun comment in the YouTube, by the way. For the magical glaive Excalibur.
Are back. Sorry about that, guys. We had to move things around a little bit, do a little magic. Someone was late to the show. Did you fall asleep? Really? No, I'm just kidding. I wanted to. Trust me, it was a long day today. All right.
I definitely want.
You know what?
To.
Let me. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna redo the. Let's just redo the beginning. Let's just do a do-over. And I'll include that. I'll include that audio in the podcast. I'll clip it and put it in the other part.
Gotcha.
You okay with that?
We can redo. Yep.
Yeah, we're just gonna start over. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Oh my gosh. Here we go. 3, 2. Hey everybody, welcome. And that's a blooper. What's up, Guardian? Welcome to episode 293. Quit laughing. Of Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, Todd the Gator, and I'm a day one Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. We're starting over, guys, in YouTube who are wondering what the hell's going on. We're just gonna start. We're just gonna do a do-over. For those of you who may not have discovered our podcast, we're a weekly Destiny and gaming show and have been producing audio episodes for over 5 years now. Things have changed a little over the years as our show has grown. One of those changes is that we've decided to produce a live version of our show on YouTube and in our Discord stage channel where you can interact with us live on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. And you can always, of course, watch it again on my YouTube channel in a replay. The audio versions are always available to all of our glorious podcast listeners out there. And of course, you can go to our website, guardiandowncast.com, and listen to any of our back episodes on demand. This week, it is our monthly roundtable for February. For those of you who may be new to the podcast, once a month, we produce a roundtable episode whereby members of our community bring a topic, story, article, or just a point of view to the table. The topics can be anything related to the gaming industry, entertainment, social media, basically anything that pertains to our gaming life and hobbies. Each of us will introduce our topic and give our opinions and takes on it, and then we'll go around the table and everyone else will chime in and add to the topic of conversation. In this month's roundtable, I have my co-host from the great state of Utah. It's Mr. Kingsley Mack. How are you again tonight, sir?
Hey, doing great. Glad to be here, even though I'm tired.
It's like deja vu. We have a returning guest roundtabler on the show tonight, and is part of our Patreon community from the great state of California. Welcome back, Deadpool 1 Merc. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, you, man. Appreciate you coming on tonight. You may remember we had Deadpool 1 Merc on episode 261. You can go back to guardiandowncast.com if you'd like to hear our interview with him. RNG Gator is off tonight. He did have an additional topic of discussion that I will enter right here in the podcast. And before we get into our topics tonight, Let's catch up. I'm just curious what you've all been doing this week in gaming and life. Deadpool and Merc, since you're our guest here, what you been doing this week, man? Catch us up. What's been going on in life?
So I've been gaming on Destiny 2 here and there. I was doing Iron Banner on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
and that's about it. Watching some shows like The Rookie, catching up on that, or rewatching and catching up on that, and working.
You said you were in the emergency room tonight. Did you want to share what that was about?
Yeah, I had a really bad pain in my stomach,
Oh shit.
and it started around like 5:30 this morning. It was really bad, and I tried to sleep it off, and around 8 o'clock it wasn't going away. So I had to call out today, and I had to go straight to the emergency room. But I am doing a lot better. I'm doing 10 times better than what I was this morning.
Everything okay, man?
Yeah, everything's good.
Okay.
No, everything came out positive for like everything was like good.
Okay.
So no negative stuff inside me. Nothing's wrong with me.
That's good.
So.
Man, I've been going through the gambit with the medical profession lately. I never thought I'd ever say this, but I've got bursitis in my hip. It's basically where your muscles tied to an IT band. It's like you probably know this, but it's a band that goes along the length of your leg, and you have your hip flexor muscles, also called psoas muscles, and you have your buttocks muscles, your gluteus maximus muscles, and they play tug of war on this band. And what ends up happening is the band just gets pissed off, and there's a little bursa sacs underneath that cushions your bone, your hip bone, to your IT band, and it just pisses it off and gets it irritated. And then your IT band seizes up, and then it goes down to your patella tendon, and it's like your whole leg is on fire all the time. And that's why I have not been sleeping very well. But we don't need to hear any more medical jargon, Gator, so I will keep moving on. Let's go to Kingsley. Kingsley, what you been doing this week, man? Jesus. Help me, please.
Yeah, I've been getting no sleep last couple of nights. Not going to go into any details, but I just started a new prescription medicine. It'll be temporary, but like I just wanted to try to not take the stuff that would help me sleep at night. And so like the last 2 nights I've had no sleep. Today was a busy work day. I had to actually go out. Ooh, boohoo me, but like I had to go out to a customer 45 minutes away, which is not normal for what I do most of the time. I'm like, today of all days when I have like no sleep, under my belt, like, so whatever, I got past it. But earlier I was like, I don't know if I can make it, guys, because no sleep for 2 nights in a row. Man. And I was able to get like a half an hour nap today. So I feel at least okay. The best I can for that amount. And I know I'm going to sleep tonight. I'm going to take some CBD tonight and zonk out or something. But
that's something I haven't tried. And people ask me, have you tried CBD oil? I'm like, maybe I should. Maybe it'll help with the pain too.
But I actually take like legit stuff. The problem, if you want CBD to work, you need to get it at a dispensary that also sells THC.
Not the crap you buy online. Yeah, I got you.
So I actually take like a CBD mixture, and I do a tincture oil. Just
Gotcha.
You put it in your mouth and stuff. But like the oil on your skin's not going to help you. That just helps your muscles and stuff. But anyways, I'm glad to be here.
Welcome to the medical podcast, everybody.
Right. I've been a little bit of gaming and Destiny. This is kind of the off part of the seasons where I'm not as interested because nothing's going on with the story or new stuff. I was meaning to hop in Iron Banner some more, but I just got busy with another game I started playing. I'm going to go into that for my topic for the week, though. But excited for the new act to be coming up, which is really just going to be a week away as of this recording coming out.
That's right.
And and then, but last night in IRL, wife and I went just out of the blue. She's like, "Hey, let's go to the melting pot." So we had a lot of fun.
Love that place.
Now, see, we like to do things just more. I mean, it's not like we don't celebrate anniversaries or things like that, but we like to do things more just on the fly, not make so much a big deal on actual, days and things like that. And I loved the suggestion she offered, and we just went because we've been there a fair amount. There's a good one in Salt Lake, 20, 30 minutes from our house, and we just like to now. I mean, it's good if you've never been before, but I don't recommend like the main course part. I think the better part is the cheese appetizers and the desserts.
It is.
The meat in the middle is just more expensive and not as good in my opinion. So we just went, got a couple drinks. They have really good old fashions and martinis.
They do.
And got a couple cheese dips and then the chocolate dessert one, and had a great time last night.
We've gone to Melting Pot since I remember bringing my kid. He was in a carrier. That kid is 27 now. We used to put him in a carrier, and they'd let us put him in the booth next door where he just slept. And we would have fondue with the family. Yeah, it was nice. They had an extra booth right next to us. And they said, just send him here. And God, man, we've been going to Melting Pot 30 years almost, I would say. We love that place, man. Yeah. It's a great place. And a lot of times, Kings, like you said, we'll go get like a double cheese and get like a yin and yang chocolate or something, and we're good to go. And usually by the time you stuff yourself,
you don't need the main part. Yeah. If you don't want. Yeah.
I was gonna say, by the time you stuff yourself with bread and cheese, you're like, I don't feel like any meat or mushrooms and veggies now. I just want.
Also, to me, the cheese is like the most, especially if you get the traditional Alpine one. Yes. That is like the most authentic, good tasting thing of all that they have. Anyways, the meats are just kind of dipped to more like a sauce, but the cheese, it's so good. They have like all this white wine in it and like really sharp, like a white cheddar, a Swiss, a Gruyere. That's like really, really good in my opinion.
I remember we went up to one past vacation when we were younger. We went up to Quebec City up in Canada, and there was a real Swiss a fondue place there, and man, it was so authentic. You ate it in a bread bowl. It was the coolest thing, man. And the cheese, like you said, was just authentic.
Yeah.
So yeah. What else you been doing this week, man?
That's basically it. I feel like there was one other thing. I don't know. It's not that important if I can't remember right now. But like I said, like for other gaming news, I'll get into that for our topic. But tired. I'm excited to be here, but I'm excited to I'm sure I'll be more interesting things to talk about next week.
We got a lot of topics tonight, so I'm going to just briefly say I did play some Iron Banner this last week, which took up probably most of my gaming time I had for Destiny this week. I played with the community on Tuesday night. I have to tell you, it was a pretty sweaty night. Lots of we were on the PC lobbies. We're mixed, but PC and console players, and lots of PC and lots of PC players in our lobbies. And we had one team that was clearly cheating, but you know what? I used to really get pissed off about that stuff, but life goes on. If people are desperate enough to, put cheats into a PC so they can, shoot you, get an aimbot and shoot you in 2 shots every time you turn a corner, whatever. The game's over in 5 minutes usually. So
good. Yeah, no point worrying about it.
On we went. So I then played on 2 separate occasions solo on console, and overall, it was a typical Iron Banner. It was just pure chaos. Good games, bad games. It is what it is. I did play on both playlists this time. The one control playlist was skill-based match made. And like I said, 50-50. I'd have some matches I'd get my ass kicked, and some matches I would come out on top. So, and then I'd play, solo in the the disruption playlist, which was open skill, which means you got whoever, and I get shit on in there too. So it didn't seem to matter to me. I know we talked about that last week. Is there a difference between the playlists? And I really don't think there was much of a difference. It was just luck. So I got lots of Iron Banner Ingrams though. And I did farm for the new Warlord Spear. And on my 18th focused Ingram, which took up all 500,000 of my Glimmer, by the way, I did get the roll I was looking for, which was jolting feedback and rewind rounds, Mr. Jesse Shannon.
Lucky.
Yes, I finally got it. And I was like, all right, I'm calling it a night. I'm done.
Yeah. I still don't have that.
So that was.
I didn't play as much. I'm not upset I don't have it, but I do want that roll. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't fully prestige up my Iron Banner stuff, but Iron Banner is going to be back in a few weeks, so I'll finish it up then.
Yeah.
I also got a decent roll on the new sidearm, the P-Spawn, the revamped P-Spawn Desperado moving targets, really good for PvP. Other than that, that's been my gaming this week. It's just been with my pain and work and everything, that's just what I've gotten up. But I do have one movie review. I did have. Shh. Movie review. That was loud as hell, wasn't it? Sorry. I do have one movie review and one television show review this week. Before becoming Led Zeppelin, this was a documentary with some very vintage footage. I've never seen this before, and it overlapped with commentary from the living members of the band. There was also some hidden audio from the drummer, John Bonham. That was pretty cool to hear, and the bandmates would react to what they were listening to with a rare interview they did with him long ago. And if you're wanting to watch this movie for like the drama, the mudslinging with certain members, all the inner fights that they had, this movie is not for you. One thing that I did learn though was the lead guitarist, the legendary Jimmy Page, really created a lot of the band's music. Page would start off with a riff and the others would add their kind of parts afterwards. And of course, the lead singer, Robert Plant, would create all the lyrics for the song. So you could say that the nucleus of the band was Mr. Jimmy Page, which I did not know. I always thought it was Robert Plant. This movie was purely about the music, and I loved it. For the music lovers out there, definitely a must watch. I give this one 3.5 stars. Solid, good movie. And it's a good documentary. It was a little sluggish in the middle because a lot of the clips were kind of a lot of the same. So it kind of dragged a little bit in the middle, but it was certainly made up for it with all the original content. Now I did see a new TV show that premiered on NBC this week called Suits LA. And if you recall, I watched the original Suits. I think it was 4 or 5 seasons of it that were fantastic. Sharp writing. I mean, you really knew each character's story and their mannerisms. How the whole series started at that little hot dog vendor on the street between two lawyers. They didn't even realize they'd be lifelong partners. That was a fantastic opening to the series, and gave it a really a good foundation. But in this version of Suits LA, the start of the series starts with a flashback scene to 2010, and you really don't even know what the hell's going on at first. And it flashes forward to the current storyline, which just seems very rushed to me. I wasn't feeling the magic, of the 2.0 version of Suits, but I am going to hang in there and just see if this goes anywhere and see if the story elements start to kick in. And, that's the part I usually hang in for. But, and every night after our live podcast here, I love to go and watch the latest episode of The Pit on HBO Max. It's really a gritty ER drama, and you can just tell it's the opposite of Suits. It's really good casting, really good writing. Everything is on point. And of course I finished the Traders UK edition on Peacock. Didn't end the way I thought it would, but I'm on season 3 of the American version with Alan Cumming. If you've not seen the Traders, and I said it's not traders like stock traders, it's like traitors, like TRAITORS. It's a game where it's like Survivor, kind of like Survivor, but there's traitors that are in the pack, that are in the group of all these friends. It's like Big Brother and Survivor had a baby. That's the only way I can explain it. Except, everyone's comfortable in a nice castle in Scotland. So yeah, that's pretty much my week. We got a lot to cover, and I promised Kingsley I would keep things moving tonight. So we will be right back with our very first story. Hang in there, guys. All right. Story's going to be me. I'm going to start the first story. This is going to be a fun story. This is going to be a lot of fun to talk about. All right. 3, 2. All right. I actually have 2 stories tonight since RNG's out this week. And the first one, I wanted to just kind of have some fun, and it could be fun, or it could actually be a little sad. But this was based on an article from a popular blog site that I read a lot. And they mentioned a lot of things, and I had a hard time believing some of it. But according to the article, if a time traveler came back to the present 30 years into the future, in other words, they came from the year 2055 back to today, these are the things they would say would have disappeared by the time 2055 gets here. And the first thing they mention is something that I probably already knew, is movie theaters. They say basically that the fact that people wanting to sit together and watch a show together, which is kind of sad actually, but they said that movie theaters would be one of the things that would no longer be around because, the streaming services and all the stuff that we use right now, it's already kind of written on the wall, that movie theaters are going to be going by I think honestly in the next 15 years, I think that movie theaters are going to become more of like a boutique thing. It's going to be very lush. You're going to have nice super recliners, a nice huge loud sound system like they do in the Dolby theaters, and the nice recliners and everything. but you're going to pay a premium to go in and watch these movies. So I think that's where movie theaters are going to go, at least in the short term. Another thing they said was not going to be here in 30 years is wristwatches, which you can argue most Gen Z out there say, what's a wristwatch, right? But they, you know, they say here with most keeping their timepiece and their cell phone, there's really no need for a wristwatch anymore. And they say some old timers will still sport the old Apple watches out there. Okay, enough said. There might be some of there. They said something that won't be here in 30 years. Florida and many other states, as we have seen with Helene's wrath, even cities like Asheville, North Carolina, which had topped the list of climate haven cities, has been wiped off the map. So they're saying people aren't going to come back to rebuild. That's not good to hear, especially when I want to live here in the future. Another thing they said it won't be here in 30 years is books. They said this can be taken a few different ways. Some may interpret this as books in general will be gone, banned, or censored, or it could be interpreted as books will only be live digital, files like in Kindle books and stuff. And that's another thing they said it won't be here in 30 years. Another thing, cashiers, which aren't we kind of going that way already? You know, with self-checkouts and stuff. I mean, they have really good cameras now that keep shoplifters at bay pretty much. So that was another thing they mentioned. Cash money will be gone in 30 years. You know, cash can be used anywhere, but yeah, it says your debit card is declined. The store's card system isn't working. Cash works every time. And they say cash has no expiration date, but they still say in 30 years that cash will be exempt, will be gone. Another thing, real meat and vegetables. They say that with the way Beyond Meat and a lot of these, synthetic meats and stuff that they're making now, that real meat will be a luxury in the future, 30 years in the future. And I'm thinking 30 years, I'm going to be well into my retirement years. So, and one thing they mentioned was teachers. And I don't know if I agree with this one, but what they're saying there with teachers is that we're going to go back to the 1800s where they had small schoolhouses that taught many ages, because according to this article, and it's a little dreary, this article, saying the population is going to shrink over time because people are going to want to have less kids over time. So I don't know if that'll happen or not. They said servers in restaurants will be going away. I guess robots are taking over that. I don't know. There were some other examples here, but I was just curious what you guys thought won't be here in 30 years. You guys got any thoughts? This is just kind of a fun story to start everything out. What do you guys think?
I think it's all interesting because, recently on the news this morning when I was at the hospital, I saw that they are letting go of 100 teachers in Oakland. So they're just to save up to $95K or something like that. I can't remember what the actual number was, but they're getting rid of some teachers because they say that they don't need that many teachers now. But yet some schools, like the school I work for,
right,
we need teachers. So it's hard to put that into like realization that that's going to happen. And then for as far as like cashiers going away, I could see that happening. My other job, because I work 2 jobs at Best Buy, you can use the app to check out if you really want to, and eventually it's going to be available for everybody soon.
Yeah.
So I could see that going. A lot of the times they want you to use applications anyways to do your checking out and stuff like that.
Right.
And money, I can see money going away because I don't carry cash on me all the time. The only time I carry cash is if it's if I really need to have the cash on me, or if it's just been in my wallet forever. So like I could tell you right now, I probably had like $10 in my wallet. It's been there for months now. So
yeah,
I can see all that. Movie theaters. Ooh, I love going to the movies, but I can see that happening too with the decline of everybody going to movies. You can actually watch everything on Prime Video or anything like that. So
True.
applications are taking over. So
yeah.
I think it's interesting that all that stuff is happening. And then, have you guys heard about the new flying vehicle that they're putting into production?
No.
Yeah, it's a new flying vehicle they tested not too long ago. It looks like it has bicycle wheels on it. They're so thin, but it's like super light, and it actually flew over. They took it and flew it over a car just to prove that it can fly. So pretty soon that's going to be, but that's going to be worth $300,000
Jeez.
from what they were saying.
I think we're a long way from flying cars. I mean, you got to make something light enough to put our big butts in. That's not going to sink like a rock. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, typically flying cars, you have to be able to just fly up into the air from wherever you are, right? There's not going to be like runways everywhere. I don't know. And then you got to worry about a traffic system. I've got Fifth Elements coming to my mind right now. I'm thinking about the traffic system through the cities and how do you not run into each other? And
they would have to have multi-level lanes too.
Man,
fast cars high, slow cars low.
I think we'll get flying cars.
I
think we'll get flying cars, but I think that's going to be like 150 years from now. I'll be long gone. So, what do you think, Kingsley? Anything come to mind? 30 years. That'd be 2055.
First, I want to go over the list. The only one that I agree will maybe totally go away is cash, because all the other ones, it depends on the definition of going away. Do you mean literally all the way away?
Like
or do
obsolete.
We just mean
like obsolete.
There will be. But does obsolete mean there's zero, or does it mean there's still a few movie theaters? You know what I mean?
They just say disappear. They don't really. They're very vague. But
yeah,
there's several articles like this, by the way, where they say these things are going.
Most of those things will totally disappear, except for cash. I do think cash will totally disappear in 30 years.
I mean, they're already trying to get rid of pennies.
The only other thing I can think of that will totally disappear in 30 years is personal printers, people's printers at homes.
Really? What about
I'm trying to think of more ideas, but those are the only things
I got one
right now.
What about retail stores? Anybody going to go to the store anymore? I mean, my God, half of us have stuff delivered to our door every day.
Not much, but
it's very expensive.
I can see you would go still for something. You would go for like getting an upgrade for your flying car or something, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
you got to think about it like this. Best Buy is one of the only like real electronic retail store that's still out there. Circuit City went out of business. Fry's went out of business. A lot of the other places are going out of business.
Yeah.
But it's because they failed to adapt to the situations that happened during COVID. Best Buy is the only one that was willing to try to adapt, and they're still trying to adapt.
Yeah.
As much as even though I'm part of Geek Squad, as much as I dislike Best Buy, I don't feel like it's going to go away anytime soon. I know they're going to be closing down some locations that'll make a lot of money soon. But I think it's still going to be around because you do get some of the customers and clients that want to come in and actually feel the product or actually see the product in person versus just ordering it and not being able to see it until they get to their home. And who knows, sometimes it could be damaged by the time they get to their home and stuff like that. So I get it all the time. Have old customers, older than you, Gator. So don't worry, you're still young.
Oh, hey, case in point. I got a new mattress this weekend because our old mattress with all right, I'm old, right? I gotta have stuff that doesn't press on my pressure points when I sleep at night because I have a hard time sleeping. I'm a side sleeper. So we went and got a new mattress this weekend. And I had clients who referred me to this place to go get it and to go try it out because I'm not going to lay in his bed in his own. I'm not going to do that. That's just weird. So we went to the store, sat in there and sat on the bed, loved it. It was definitely what we thought it would be. And then we left. And I said, well, do we need to give me a card to make sure you get a commission? He goes, no, we don't go by commission. We, if you want to use our website, through our store to buy it, it'll give us credit. And that's what I did. I said, but, no, it's just try it out. Went right online, ordered it, and it'll be here in like 20 days. They actually make it by hand. It's nuts, man. So
that's what I was going to say too. Like, I think stores will still be around in some aspect, but they will have less stuff in them.
Yeah.
And people will go to see certain things, but they may not be able to get the specific thing that they want at the store.
Right.
And then they'll just order it and then it'll show up.
It's just like Sears. We still have a Sears that's open in our location. Really? It's the only Sears, and it is bone dry.
You sure it's not like Sears or something like a remake of Sears? It's really Sears.
No, it's a real Sears.
Okay.
And it's bone dry in there. They have barely anything. They still have mattresses in there. And tools and stuff like that, but it's like they don't have anything, and it's kind of creepy going in there because you're like, I'm surprised this location's still around, even though all the other ones are closed. So, but I think this one's gonna eventually close because it looks like it's shrinking more and more each time.
Yeah.
So, but I think what it is that most of those big name brand stores like Circuit City and stuff like
Yeah.
that that closed down is because they didn't want to get with the times and everything like that.
Yeah.
So
I remember
I
that.
know Best Buy is really try hard to like stay up with times and things like that. Like when COVID was around, they were doing store pickup, they were doing home delivery and stuff like that. They're still doing that to this day. So you still got home delivery, you still got store
Yeah.
pickup.
That,
You still got
yeah.
curbside too. So
That's how they adapt. I mean, that's how the restaurants are adapting now. You know, Moya Monger in our Discord chat said drive-through order takers are also out on their way out. Went through a Lee's recently and had an AI take my order. Actually did half a decent job. So I'm sure it's not far away. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not been too happy with AI yet. I talked to the woman in the phone for Apple, and she gets it wrong half the time. I don't know if it's because my voice is low or what. I don't know, but anyway, let's move on. We got a lot to talk about tonight, so we will get on with our next topic right after this break. All right, you are up next, I believe. Deadpool, you ready?
Yep, I got it right here. Yep.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2. Okay, for our second topic tonight, it is Deadpool 1 Merc. What are you bringing to the table tonight, Deadpool?
All right. So I'm a huge person on mental health and things like that and video gaming. So for me, supporting veterans' mental health through video games and can video games help in mental health recovery, I think it's a big deal because there are some companies out there, some businesses out there that try to actually help um, facilitate that for some of the service members like myself who have PTSD, depression, anxiety, and all that stuff. Um, they found that video games do help distract some of the symptoms of depression and stuff like that, and it has helped out with a lot of suicidal ideations. So like a lot of people have been avoid that. I know for me, video games is a big part. I love video games, even if it's just a few minutes here, a few minutes there. But I can tell you right now, I'm part of this group with PTSD and stuff like that. That I find that even though it might be a violent game, or shooting game or whatever, it still helps relax me and cope me down from dealing with any of the high mixed emotions that I might get from the depression and stuff like that. Um, and I have learned that it does help because there's communities out there of other gamers that probably have gone through what I've gone through, that are out there. I know I have in the Discord alone, I follow a ton of people in the Discord and a ton. So Vets TV has stuff. Regiment is a military veteran community where they help you get. It's just like Stack Up. If you ever heard of Stack Up,
I was going to mention them as I actually did some charity streams for them through Sweaty Spooks. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So Regiment's pretty much the same way. But Regiment's a little bit different. What they do is they do the same stuff, but they do they partner with the VA. So the VA helps them give gaming systems or computers away to help veterans turn around and actually do something better with their lives. Because I know how stressful it could be being a veteran. Being deployed multiple times, combat zones, and you come back and sometimes you don't feel like everything's the same. So I love the mental health thing, and I remember I told you in the last time I was on the show that I did attempt suicide many years ago, um, and for me to what helped me push through that too was not just finding all these different communities and stuff like that, but was finding people that actually love gaming and love the passion that I share with them. So it's cool how they actually could put this stuff into work, and they're still testing it to this day. I know one of the articles that I shared with you guys was actually September 11 of last year, and it still shows that they're actually still pushing this and pushing that. And it looks like recently the VA had already donated about 5 PCs to gamers so far within the last year. And they're trying to increase that number more. I know Regiment, which is one of the Discords I'm part of, they actually they keep on pushing. They send out all this notifications letting you know, hey, look, this is the next thing that's going to be given away. Make sure you include your name and stuff like that. And I feel like it's something that helps out a lot. I know being part of this community too, this Guardian Downcast,
Hmm.
um, tons of people in here show their support, and I know that's what we need. And all I know is if anybody ever needs help or needs somebody to talk to, I'm always here. I've been down that dark tunnel, and gaming's what kept me out of it. So that's how I feel about the topics I brought to the table.
Yeah, I know we have a lot of veterans in the Owl Sector Alliance. A lot of vets shared throughout the Owl Sector Alliance communities, and yeah, I've got to know help. Some of them have been on my show as guests. So yeah, I think it's important. I really do, and I love what Stack Up does. Providing consoles to especially members that are out in the field.
Mm-hmm.
That don't really have anyone to talk to or any outlet. To get their maybe not aggression, but maybe their stress out into. And I've always used video games to de-stress. And what's the number one thing people say when I ask them why do they game? It's to escape. I mean, that's what you're wanting to do. You're wanting to turn your brain off and jump into a fantasy world where you don't have to worry about all the real life shit that comes down on you every day, and the negative self-talk and stuff. I mean, I know when I play a video game, I tend to hyper focus. And I'll be feeling sick and not feel good during the day. And it's funny, I'll just start playing Destiny, whether it's a game, Crucible or whatever. And I just don't even think about it. So if it's making me feel better when I'm actually physically sick, I imagine it's really good for our vets out there. So just a good escape.
I love it too. I was when we talk about these things, a lot of them seem like, yeah, this helps with people of all walks of life, not just veterans. But then I was trying to think, like, I did not really realize like how much it can help with, like you were mentioning in the article mentions mindfulness, like a psychological escape. Also like potentially helping with suicidal thoughts and drug and alcohol use.
Mm-hmm.
I never really considered that before. That's way cool if people can actually have video games at least be some kind of reprieve from addiction. And uh, quite amazing, I'd have to say. And I'm really interested, like, it probably doesn't matter what type, right? As long as you're doing something with people or some kind of a mind connection to keep yourself busy, I would imagine, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, but that's so cool to hear this, and probably something that maybe even 10, 20 years ago, it's not, I mean, it's mostly an older generation thing, but I would imagine even just like in veteran circles and stuff 10, 20 years ago, I'm like, video games, like, but like now it's like, yeah, dude, like there's all these great benefits and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's crazy because like even though I'm from a different time period of war and stuff like that, but like the veterans that came before me from like Vietnam and stuff like that, they didn't get the help that
Oh
they
no.
deserved like we are now. Now they make it so that way, like my visit to the ER today, I didn't have to pay nothing. Um I didn't The only thing I had to do is get the medication, pay for that, but that's about it. But the VA covers everything, and there's a lot of veterans out there that don't have this assistance and help from years ago because back then they're just like, oh, tough it up, you know, put your big boy
yeah,
pants on or put your big girl pants on, you
Mm-hmm.
can get through it. But now they're trying to help out in so many ways, and
Mm-hmm.
um, I knew they were trying to help out with video gaming and stuff like that, but I didn't know it was like this far. Like they were actually been testing it for years, and all the good things they have come up with the gaming communities and stuff like that, where some of these programs they have out there, they actually use Discord to help people connect and stuff like that. Um, and I think it's cool that it helps out with everything that they listed in there, especially with the alcohol addiction. Because I used to have a really bad drinking problem years ago when I was in the military. I used to drink a lot, and I didn't play that many video games then because I was like always hanging out with friends, drinking too much, going out and stuff like that. And now that I have video games, I'm not saying I'm addicted to the video games. It takes my mind off other things. I don't have to worry about a stressful day. I don't have to worry about what happened, and I think it provides a healthier relationship for me and my girlfriend too, because you know I play a little bit when I'm stressed, and then I come back and it's like things are good between us. Like I don't take out none of my frustrations on her. I let her know. I feel more able to talk to her, and I feel like it's the same thing when I'm talking with my friends to other people too, in the community. So I feel like it's a great thing. Dealing with mental health is not easy. So and a lot of people don't understand, but it's we all have our own different issues with our mental health too. So
It's a daily fight, I'm sure. It's a daily thing.
yeah.
It never stops. Yeah. Well, hey man, thanks for sharing that. I appreciate you
Thank
bringing that to our attention, and thank you for your sacrifice, by the way.
Yeah,
We
no problem.
appreciate you. Um,
Thank you.
we got so much to talk about tonight, so I'm sorry, but I got to keep moving along here. Kingsley Mack is up next with his story. Be right back.
All right.
Okay. Ready, Kingsley?
I'm ready.
Okay. Here we go. 3, 2. Okay, our third story tonight, our third topic tonight is from Mr. Kingsley Mack. So Kingsley, what are you bringing to the table this week?
Yeah, my topic is kind of an introduction. It's a two-part thing into a new video game that I've been playing that I had no idea I would like this much, and then a topic that goes along with it that you can get AAA released video games these days that are complete or good enough on day one. Of course, nothing's going to be totally bug free, but basically ready on day one. So, anyone heard about this game Avowed that's come out recently?
Yeah, I've been hearing news about it. Yep.
It
haven't heard
is
nothing.
fun. The reason why I started playing it is because it's on Xbox and PC Game Pass. It's not on PlayStation, unfortunately. They have tentative plans to bring it at some point, but Obsidian was bought by Microsoft, Microsoft, and so it's just kind of a PC and Xbox thing right now. But a lot of us do have PCs, even if we don't have Xboxes. So I highly recommend checking this out because you can even just drop a few dollars at it to see if you like it or not. But basically, here, let me see. I was copying some.
Yeah, I heard while you're looking for that, I heard the combat
Yeah.
system was second to none on this game. That's what really sells the game.
Yeah, I mean, it may not appeal to everyone. Some people may like other combat systems differently, but I really like it. Oh, and by the way, right now it has 81 Metacritic score for critics, which is
Not bad.
pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. User scores will always be mixed, but at least it's a 7. I haven't put in my review yet. I would give this like an 8.5 myself.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, it's not perfect, but really, really good. But basically, how much time have you spent in games in wonder of various fungi? No, not us normally, but that was before this first-person RPG Avowed tuned up and changed things. Very rarely does such a strange, captivating, and considered world arrive on your screen. It's even rare for that world to be realized in pin-sharp, bleeding-edge visual techniques and combat systems that tug at the corners of your mouth every time you engage with them. Avowed is truly a lunar eclipse of a game. Perhaps we shouldn't be so surprised. This is the latest production from Obsidian Entertainment, an old RPG master with the likes of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Fallout New Vegas, and the Pillars of Eternity series to its name. And it's had a head start building the world. Avowed takes place in the same settings as the aforementioned Pillars games, the fantasy world of Eorg, where gods treat humans, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, where gods treat humans as their playthings, and races with wildly different cultures struggle to share the lands without bloodshed ensuing. Although it's an incredibly rich setting for this new Skyrim-esque adventure, Obsidian built this world for old-school isometric RPGs and to an ever-changing system. Fights happen in a very highly stylized way. The action will slow to a momentary pause to highlight incoming attacks and opportunities to counter. There's kind of like this faint whiff of a Street Fighter or a Dragon Ball Z about it, which isn't a comparison they were trying to draw when we hit the new game, start of the game, but timing your block and your attack inputs, thinking about the best moments to deploy your abilities, and command your party members to deploy theirs, plus the layer of magical attacks you can ping off from grimoires and wands, gives you a lot of freedom to express yourself in each fight. I want to read one other. So that's one article that was given it high praise.
Mhm.
And then I want to read one other article about, funny enough, this game was originally going to have more similarities to Destiny. Not so much the sci-fi part, because obviously this is a fantasy game.
Right.
But I don't know if you guys knew this, but Avowed was originally, back in the day, pitched as Skyrim meets Destiny.
I did not know that.
And yeah, and this was a while ago. So basically, it started its life back in 2018, that long ago, as something the then independent Obsidian studio could present to prospective buyers. The game was planned to be a Fallout New Vegas and Pillars of Eternity Studios' magnum opus, and was going to be an online fantasy RPG mashing together Destiny and Elder Scrolls Skyrim. The ambitious pitch called for players to adventure together online in a huge open world. 2018, Microsoft bought Obsidian and work continued on Avowed, but the game struggled to come together. And by the time Xbox announced Avowed publicly in 2020, Obsidian actually cut the multiplayer out entirely. So this is just a single player game. But that's okay, because I'm going to go on to more reasons why here in a second. Then in January 2021, Obsidian scrapped that version of the game, which had been in development for 2 years. Carrie Patel took over as director, and she implemented two big changes. The first was to focus more on the world and lore of Pillars of Eternity, and the second was to replace the Skyrim-like open world with instead large zones. This was the same approach used in other games like the Outer Worlds, Obsidian sci-fi RPG from 2019, and of course we know Outer Worlds 2 is going to be coming out.
Yep.
I loved that trailer when they showed it in the Game Awards.
It was good. Look good.
Yeah, by having the zones instead of an open world, it helped them build different varied locales and skip over a ton of technical hurdles that you can get in open world games. With any game, you think, okay, we can't climb every mountain. Which ones are really worth the effort for us? And then they knew that the Outer Worlds, from the Outer Worlds game, that we could build a really great game with open zones, and that adds some advantages in terms of letting you really theme your areas more distinctively. Think about, like, again, Destiny has different planets, you know.
True.
Even if they make a more open world version when we go to Frontiers, it's probably, you know, you still, different planets or different locations still have generally the same theme. And so there are sometimes advantages to having zones versus open world stuff. I know in open worlds you can kind of like have things that kind of blend slowly to looking different to something else. But there really is like more this sense of each zone you're in has a main theme to it. It was a messy development cycle for a while, including multiple vertical slices and reboots of the game, but it paid off in the end because Avowed has received near universal praise from critics and has proved a hit for Xbox's Game Pass service. They say what's next? They don't know, but they would love to do more within this Pillars of Eternity world. I'm telling you, this game, I had no idea I would like it this much. I'm not usually someone to like fantasy games. I'm definitely not a person to love RPG games in general. I like heavily action adventure RPG, like, you know, Destiny is a light action adventure RPG. This
Right.
is a action adventure RPG. I get bored out of my mind when you're talking about like actual Dungeons and Dragons, where you have like a million stats you have to go through, and you like, I'm gonna do this move, then this move, then this move, then this move. But when you can put it into a video game and have it be an action adventure version, I started this game very skeptically, and within a couple minutes, I was hooked.
Really?
Because the
Okay.
gunplay feels good. Well, it's not gunplay so much. I mean, there are guns too, actually, but it's
Yeah.
a lot of bows, a lot of magic, wands, things like that. But there are actually some guns you can do too. You can have combo stats where you can pick a character and you don't have to go all into wizard or all into warrior or all into ranger. You can do stats from all of them. So think about if you could combine your warlock, your titan, the best from all three, and your hunter all together.
Prismatic.
It's, the worlds are so densely populated. I was spending hours just in these cities where multiple levels of buildings had like back alleyways or basements or rooftops that you could find some way to jump onto with like rewards and chests up there and collectibles and just things to explore. Or even when you're outside the city walls before you go to the main part of the world, you want to go around the whole city wall because there will be like little caves you can find underneath or some big dungeon that you didn't know was there. And it's very, very densely packed in exploration, activity, adventure to it that really hits all the nerves. What I like about this game, I like how it has some RPG elements for sure, but it doesn't go heavily into it as maybe some games might.
Right.
And I think this game is great. The main point I was going to say also is the game was ready basically on day one. There was no major like, oh, game breaking this or game breaking that. Sure, every game has some bugs. They came out with a day one patch, and there's already been like 2 very small patches afterwards. But like everything I've been doing in the game has just been working. There hasn't been bugs, showstoppers, things like that. And I feel like there's lots of content with even all the reboots they had to have and the change in style. This game is a great AAA game that can come out these days and be ready. And it may not appeal to everyone this game, but it can be a game that people can have fun with.
Just going to take over your Assassin's Creed?
Well, I mean, right now it's just taking over anything besides Destiny.
Right.
I know Assassin's Creed's coming out March 20th, the New Shadows one.
That's not far.
So,
this game looked interesting. It reminds me of Far Cry Primal a little bit, and then it reminds me of a little bit of Skyrim, and then it's almost like a combination of a lot of games to me, and seeing all of it mixed together.
Really fun.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's worth trying out. Just if you even if you don't have Game Pass, if you have a PC or an Xbox, check it out. I think
I saw it's on BattleNet too, because I still have BattleNet. I still have on.
Oh, sure, you can buy it too, but if you want to just not buy it, if you want to try it out, you can do Game Pass.
Yeah. That
you should try it out too, Gator. It wouldn't be. You could. This is literally a game where you could know if you like it probably within 10-15 minutes.
Well, here's the thing. I used to play a lot of Skyrim, and I remember the spell making for me was so it's so clunky. You would have to, kind of stop and put your spells together with the different commands and then throw the spell. From what I'm hearing, the spell casting is so much more fluid in this game than in Skyrim.
Yeah. I haven't played Skyrim, and I think a lot of people might like Skyrim better because there's more to certain things, but there's a lot of quality of life things that are more up to date in this game and easier in a way, and I think maybe more appealing to an average player. Yes, working with spells in this is very easy. If you do mouse and keyboard, it's kind of like Diablo. You can just hotkey up to 6 or whatever, but if you're doing controller, it's really easy too.
Okay.
They have options where you can put your most common ones just on an up, down, right, or left, or you can open up a radial wheel where you hit like L2 or whatever, and then you pick the spells you want. But you also have a grimoire book you can carry with you, which gives you additional spells, and then you use that as a way. So I'm like I've got to a point now where I'm more used in the game, and I just know how to like chain these spells together. It's a lot of fun. Like I'll come into an area, and I'll do a protection around me first, obviously, like a shield. That's step one. And then I will, depending on where the enemies are, if they're further away, I start with a distance thing. I do have an arrow, and then I'll swap back to my wand. And then if they start rushing me, I have some defensive spells. If they're further away, I have some offensive spells. They have this void one that you really like that shoots down like void purple orbs from the sky, and it's really powerful.
That's me.
So, and there's tons of spells you can have fun with it, and that's just the wizard part. There's the ranger and the warrior also.
Yeah, when I play Elden Ring, I always like range attacks because I'd rather time my ranged spell attacks and stuff, but they get exhausted so quickly, versus the running in and hacking and slashing. And I can do that too, and you have to time that as well. And I tend to go toward more magic spell like stuff when I jumped into Elden Ring at first. So maybe it'll be something I like. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I'm just happy there's a game that's out that generally people aren't saying is broken. Generally,
true.
It was released great day one, and it generally has good reviews. Not everyone's going to like it, but really good critic reviews and pretty good score reviews. And in some of the other Discords too, and the All Sector Alliance, people have been talking about it and really enjoying the game. And so I think it's cool that we can have games that come out that are even compared to games in the past that are different, but still like a new version with great graphics, um,
Hmm.
and excitement and just exploring things and having fun. And
Nice.
yeah,
I
and
was
it's a
watching-
single player, so but you can have a lot of fun with it. It's just kind of one of those things you would just do like later at night when you're not playing some multiplayer
Yeah,
game and just
like
explore
Blatro.
around.
like Blatro.
I was
just-
I would
watching.
say, yeah, I would say real quick, as far as time you could put into it,
Mhm.
I don't know. Some people was claiming if you rush through the campaign, which you don't want to do because there's certain things you can only get with doing the side quests, and and even then, I don't usually rush through campaigns. I like to explore lots of things, but some people were claiming it could go as quick as 20 hours if you rush through the campaign. Sure, but if you even are rushing through everything, the campaign is maybe like 40% of the game. Tons of side quests, tons of other things to explore. I'm already in like, I tend to also keep the game running sometimes so this isn't really fair, but I'm already in 36 hours and if I had to guess, like 20% through the game. I'm hearing numbers like 80 hours if you want to
I heard 70.
really explore everything good.
Mhm.
And that's just with one character. And then
Right.
also with it being RPG elements, there is a lot of like choices you can make, not as there is a little bit with like actual fights and outcomes, but it's
Mhm.
more so when you're talking to people, right?
Right.
Like how you respond back to them. And so those interactions can take a lot of time, and you might want to play it again another time with a different character and then choose a different path. And then you might kill that person later versus sooner, or not kill them at all or something like that.
Right.
It reminds me of Fable. Fable was like that, where you could take
That's a good
one
game.
path or the other. Fable, I love Fable. I wish
Son
they
played a ton of it.
come out with a new version. Yeah.
That was an Xbox staple in my house for a while. The 360 days. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Good story. Good topic, Kingsley. Thank you very much. I did not know it was originally supposed to be a Destiny meets Skyrim. That would be interesting, though. Think about it.
Basically, just in the multiplayer part, I
yeah.
think, as far as Destiny is concerned, but because it was always going to be fantasy, but
Right.
but yeah, it's kind of too bad they couldn't keep multiplayer. But I'm glad whatever they did with change pivoting was a smart move, because the game how it is now is probably smart versus trying to do too much and it not being good with anything.
I was watching a stream on it the other day, and actually, it goes so smooth. It looks so smooth. Like the guy was doing some stuff, and then he switched to his gun, and then shot the gun, and I was
Yeah.
like, it just went so smooth. It was so smooth, and I was like, man,
It feels
wish we
very
had-
good. Like when you're, again, kind of the slowdown when I'm like doing my bow and arrow, there's like a dance element to it. Like, I'll aim at the crit spot and things kind of slow down and I'll shoot that arrow. But then once it goes out of my arrow, the game picks back up like a half second quicker. And then I can swap to a spell and shoot that out. And then I can go back to something else. And then it slows down at all the right points, and then but speeds back up at all the right points again too.
I like it when it's fluid
for a
like that.
game,
Yeah.
Yeah, for a game to be having no issues too in the beginning.
Yeah.
that's pretty
That's
good.
a rarity.
Yep.
That's a rarity these days. That's for sure. Okay. I gotta stir the pot before we leave tonight. But first, we're gonna check in with the TWAB this week just to see if there's anything highlight that we need to talk about. So we'll be right back once we look at any of the main points from this week in Destiny. All right, let's take a look at the TWAB this week. Developer live stream coming up. Okay. I'll carry the brunt of this because Kingsley, I know we're all kind of sleep deprived tonight. I'll jump into this. Okay, here we go. 3, 2. Okay, this week in Destiny for February 27th, 2025. This week in Destiny, we're jumping back into the Grandmaster Nightfalls and prepping for Act 2. Can't believe it's here already. While we're eager to continue to the Heresy story in Act 2, we're taking this week to enjoy some GMs, chase a few god rolls, which I heard is the Palindrome, and prepare before we continue our journey. Oh, and if you're wondering what's coming in Act 2, don't worry. We got you covered with our upcoming developer live stream. So that is going to be Tuesday, reset, March 4th at 10 a.m. Pacific. So that's going to be reset basically for us, 10, 11, 12, 1, 1 p.m. Eastern time. They're going to give an in-depth look at Heresy Act 2. The dev team will be taking you through the new activity, gear, and rewards you can look forward to when Act 2 launches on March 11th. We'll also look ahead with a small preview of Act 3. I know some of the weapons for Act 2 were leaked a little bit, so I'm curious to see what they show on Tuesday as well. And of course, you'll get a cool emblem if you jump in and watch at least 15 minutes. It's called the Portable Power Emblem. It is a Twitch drop, so make sure you're tuning in to Bungie through Twitch to make sure you get your credit for that. I love their drops. I just about have all the emblems. A gaze at your moments of triumph for 2024. It's a time where we take a moment to reflect on the past year and celebrate everything you've accomplished this year. Guardians conquered exotic missions, dungeons, a raid, and even defeated the Witness in Excision. As far as impressive accomplishments go, it doesn't get much bigger than that. Moments of Triumph returns March 4th with 33 challenges from the past year and a set of rewards to earn. You can earn access to the new 2024 Moments of Triumph t-shirt probably, as well as the Techno Protection Ghost Shell and Flag Bearer Sparrow. If you manage to complete 26 of the 30 challenges, you'll earn the MMXXIV title and access to the title pin. I'm very good with the triumphs. The Moments of Triumph. I think I've got a lot of the titles for this. If you get 5 triumphs complete, you'll gain access to purchase the 2024 Moments of Triumph t-shirt. 14 triumphs, the Techno Protection Ghost Shell. 21 triumphs, the Flag Bearer Sparrow. And 26, of course, the seal and the title, and of course the title pin if you want to get that. It does look pretty good. This t-shirt does look really nice. Gotta admit. Even the pins look really nice. You guys can go to bungie.net if you want to see the rewards for the Sparrow and the Ghost Shell. They look pretty good. Definitely different. Trials of Osiris is back tomorrow after 1 week hiatus to give Iron Banner a space it deserves. Trials of Osiris is back tomorrow, February 28th, as we record this on February 27th. While we usually leave maps and rewards as a Friday surprise, we wanted to give you a small look ahead as we continue to celebrate our changes to the Lighthouse and reward story in the Trials playlist. And if you remember from 2 shows ago, I had a very easy time going to the Lighthouse. Not pumping my chest. I'm just reiterating how easy it was. It took me an hour and a half to get my 7 wins playing solo without the sound on. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying if you run in there and you work, well, if you work together with the 2 other people that are with you, you can give yourself a good chance to get wins. The Lighthouse.
Well, yeah, and you just need the 7 wins now versus Flawless. So
yeah, of course, it's so much easier. Flawless was tough for me to do solo because I would get the 6 wins, and because it was card based, you would get all the sweaty games. You would get all the people that were sitting on 6 wins straight, and I just couldn't do it. It was luck of the draw whether I got a killer team or not, and 9 times out of 10 I did not get the killer team. So that you can help out. The Lighthouse Passage, if you're looking for more traditional passage that offers a trip to the Lighthouse and a chance for adept weapons, then the Lighthouse Passage is for you. Getting a shot at adept loot is a lot more straightforward with the new system. I mentioned that 2 weeks ago. All you have to do is pick up the Lighthouse Passage at Saint Spot in the tower and get 7 wins, period. Each consecutive win on the way to the Lighthouse adds an incremental chance for more and better rewards. If I remember correctly, I got 4 wins in a row before I hit a sweaty team. In the tower and 7 wins. Each consecutive win on the way to the Lighthouse adds an incremental chance for more and better rewards, with 3 wins in a row guaranteeing a depth from the chest. Did you get 5 consecutive wins without a loss? When you reach the Lighthouse, you'll unlock the Trials Glow and have a shot at earning Trials Ship or Sparrow. And I didn't get the Glow because I went to 4 wins in a row. Going Flawless, 7 wins in a row with no losses still gives you the most. If you haven't earned the longest streak, you can reset your passage and try again. Or once you have visited the Lighthouse, you can keep playing on your completed passage with increased chances of post-game loot based on your longest win streak you have earned through the week. A 4-win streak gives you a chance at adept weapon drops, and win streaks of 5 or higher grant you chances for exclusive rewards. Believe me, every game you're going to get an engram, you're going to get some weapons, even a piece of armor. It seemed like every game I completed, there was something you were getting. Just like if you're playing regular Crucible, it was really nice.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
liking
this
this
is
new
a lot
version.
like how PvE's been for a while. Like,
Yeah, it is.
if you go into like Nether or seasonal activities, they rain loot on you on the basic version.
No
However,
doubt.
if you're going to do expert Nether, they rain ×2 loot
Mhm.
on you.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with this. The amount of loot you're getting normal, non-flawless, is way more than before. But yet, if you go flawless, it's even more than that. So
Yeah,
Well,
I got 5 straight wins, and I was so mad because my
nice.
6th match was so sweaty,
Mhm.
and but it was amazing. I actually like the one new way they're doing trials. It's pretty cool. I like it.
It's so friendly to anybody who wants to just dive in and start learning how to play it. You know, it's really nice. I've been playing
Mhm.
comp forever, so it's just like playing comp. It's just a little higher stakes. But if you do not want to go for the lighthouse, you just want to kind of get your feet wet, there is the trials passage. You get some regular weapons, finish some challenges, take a shot at the trials ghost, and you have a more chill matchmaking experience. The regular trials passage may suit you best. While this passage won't take you to the lighthouse, you'll rake in some great loot playing at your own pace, and there's no really wrong way to play. And not to mention, you're getting engrams, and you're progressing the seasonal bar on the trials vendor at the tower too, which unlocks more weapons and stuff as well. Next Friday, March 7th, will also be the start of Fun Trials Weekend, as you'll have your first crack at earning Adept version of the powerful new sniper rifle Keen Thistle. Adept Keen Thistle with Lone Wolf and Closing Time, yes please. Or if you want to meme a bit, triple tap and 4 times the charm can make a magazine for nearly limitless mistake. That's the one I think I got when I played for PvE. It's really good for DPS damage and stuff. Even if you question your abilities with a sniper, we highly recommend getting your hands on this. Maybe it will convert you. I did get a couple of these, and it looks really nice. It's a Haka frame. So I haven't tried it a whole lot yet, but I just got a couple of them sitting in my vault. Outside of trials, we do have another fun mode returning for the duo fire teams among you. We're going to have a 2v2 clash next week. Boy, that brings back memories. We're talking PvP. We've got a little fun coming to Quick Play Small Team Rotator. It's been a while, but doubles are back on the menu. Next week, 2v2 clash returns. Grab your favorite buddy and jump on in. Warcry, where you at? As you play, you'll notice a unique modifier that makes you feel slightly different than your Rumble or 6v6 clash match. You gain extra flinch resistance when you're near your ally, but gain increased sprint speed when separated. Interesting. Will you hold your hands with your partner or aim for some cheeky flanks on the battlefield? We all know I'm going to flank. Show your strategies. Maybe you'll land a spot in the future movie of the week. All right. Sundren Docton show match schedule. They're having a speed run show match that's going to be continuing this week coming up. Let's see. Germany, Brazil, USA, France, UK, Poland. Several countries, wow, are being represented here. You can see the whole schedule on bungie.net. The participating teams will also have their Osmium Air emblems to give away too for the streamers out there. Destiny 2 Heresy Fashion Favorites. The results of that is also there in the Destiny blog for the week. Player Support Report. Kingsley's.
Shit's broken.
Well, yeah, that goes without saying, but I always give Kingsley a shot to go through and pick out
anything
anything
that's interesting. I mean,
looking.
I think this is up to date. No, they did fix, we were talking about our ARC build that we really liked last week. They did fix the things that were broken to make it even better.
It's even stronger.
Patch.
It's even stronger.
However, there is a known issue that says Ionic Sentry sometimes doesn't chain lightning enemies, so there could still be a small issue there. Okay. So that was interesting to me. Shit's broken.
Yeah.
But thanks for saying it, Deadpool.
Yeah, thanks for saying it for us. But shit is broken, folks. Shit is broken. Even though I'm not wearing the shit's broken shirt tonight. There is some really cool art and a movie of the week, of course, in here. You can always follow that. And there you have it. Another TWID ends. Did you get a nice palindrome yet? We're getting back to farming them the moment we finish writing this very paragraph. We should end it now. There, done. No? Did we forget something to mention? Oh, yeah. Have an amazing rest of your week, Guardians. We leave you with this amazing Aztec-inspired fashion to brighten your week. Emblem incoming. Now back to the GM. Bet we can do a sub 15-minute run. Destiny 2 community team. Thank you, Destiny 2 community team. As always, thank you for communicating with us every week. So many games don't do that. And Bungie's always prided themselves on talking and communicating with their community. So I always like to acknowledge the team for continuing to put out the weekly blogs. All right.
And there is one other thing.
Oh, sure. Go
They
ahead.
did forget something, actually, because there's some late breaking news. They came out with a tweet today. You're not going to like this, but
I think I should.
Redrick's S-Stock pulse rifle is getting quite a nerf.
Oh,
Crap. I've been using that a lot.
They said, wait till you hear all this.
Oh, no.
I don't know if you saw this news today yet. We understand that this weapon shipped a little hot in the crucible. The following changes are also being planned for Act 2. Tuning sword logic damage against players in PvP. Additionally, we'll be adding this perk to more weapons in the future and need it to be in line with our other damage perk options in the PvP sandbox, but it will not be affected in PvE. Good. Additionally, they're going to be reducing the handling stat on it. Additionally, they're going to be walking back some of the buff that lightweight pulse rifles received in the Destiny 2 update 8153. So
sad.
Quite a few things they're doing. They said it'll still perform better than the pre-buff, but they're reducing the damage a bit to lower some, of the forgiveness.
That pulse rifle is really good too. It's
Destiny
really
fun. The fun police is here. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
And another
you
thing,
don't say that against shotguns and not pulse rifles, to be fair. So
Yeah, that's true.
they're being fair.
It's true. Oh well.
did you guys know that Paladron actually changed too? It's not a void weapon no more. It's an arc weapon.
I know it's arc.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it's sad they didn't add something like jolting or a volt shot or something. I don't think, right? There's no volt shot on it.
Yeah,
There was
I
something
don't think
that
there is.
really wanted, but
it does. You know why that doesn't bother me? Because the sleeper weapon of this whole season is the Joxer's longsword that you can get from Crucible drops. It's Crucible Ingrams. It only takes one Crucible Ingram to farm it, by the way. I have a destabilizing rounds repulsor brace build that I plan on using in the next raid I decide to jump in, which we need to get on that, Kingsley. Also, I've got Headseeker, gut shots, sight straight. I've got another Headseeker roll as well with Demolitionist. So that's what I've been really aiming for. I mean, I ran my 3 comp matches this week and I got a terrible roll of the Redrick's S-Stock. So c'est la vie, whatever. That's the way it is. Thank you for brightening my night, Kingsley. I was in a better mood a minute ago. I didn't see that tweet, by the way. I do know that I did see a tweet from Destiny, one of the Destiny channels that they're having another collaboration coming up soon. I didn't see which one, but
go figure. Do you know what it is, or
no? I don't even recognize the game, so it doesn't matter.
Okay,
doesn't matter. It's some kind of animated game. I don't know. Anyway, I just play Destiny. Okay, onward we go to the final story of the night, and that is going to be me, and I'm going to stir the pot tonight because me and Kingsley have already gone head to head on this topic, but I'm curious to see what curious to see what Deadpool thinks of all this. So we'll be right back after this mandatory bathroom break. Right back, guys. And I do need to take a.
Now, if maybe you're going to be thinking there's more of a stirring pot than there actually will be.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll have to see, I guess. Okay. I am going to take just a quick 2-minute break, guys. Just 1 second. I'm going to go. I do need to go use the bathroom real quick. And
same here.
So I'm going to go to the intermission screen here, and I'll just play a quick ad just real quick for you guys. There we go. And we're back. Sorry, guys. Old man problems.
Muted.
My OBS was muted. I think I mute it when I go to intermission. So we are back for our last story. And I want to stir the shit tonight. That's what I like to do, right? So my story is a little, I don't know if it's controversial, but I put a little thought into this. I'm just curious to see what you guys think. All right, here we go. 3, 2. All right, I am going to finish up the night with our final story of Around the Roundtable tonight. I read an article this week that how about a once very popular first-person shooter, free-to-play, the first Transcendent, after only 7 months, has lost 96% of its live service player base. And I was curious to talk with the guys tonight as to why this might have happened, but more importantly, is this a grim reminder of what's on the line for the new year of Destiny 2 content, codename Frontiers? And what is it going to take to keep Destiny 2 from the same fate as the first Transcendent? And I know I have a little trepidation with this topic, and I realize that it could go off the rails, but what better way to conclude the show, right? Am I right? Anyway, we all know when first Transcendent came out, it was kind of a free-to-play Destiny-like game. And from what I'm hearing from the community is that
First Descendant, or
the
what's
first
the name of the game again?
the first Descendant.
First Descendant.
I'm sorry, the first, the first Descendant, right? Yeah.
I think
You said Transcendent.
Oh, I did write Transcendent in my script. Oops.
Yeah,
It was
it's
probably-
First
I just wanted to make sure.
It
Sorry.
was, it was probably late last night when I wrote this, but anyway,
No worries.
96%, man. I mean, but here's the thing. This reminds me of that other Destiny killer. What was that one game that was third person that you could fly in the air like a guardian, but immediately when people realized you ran out of stuff to play on it, it just died. What was that game a long time ago? That's how bad it is. We don't remember the name of it. Anthem. This reminds me of Anthem. It was real excited. I remember Astacross playing the first Transcendent. No, damn it. The first Descendant. And I remember they were saying, oh, it's fun to play. There's bosses and you can go around and I'm thinking, did the jiggly physics of half naked women, did you just get old? Did the novelty wear off? I mean, I remember gamers and even Destiny content creators celebrating how awesome this game was and how you could grind to unlock all the cosmetics. So I'm a little confused how this isn't such a great game to play anymore. And it's nearly dead, to be honest. Also got some feedback from our Destiny community that tried to play Warframe. And like me, it just didn't feel the same as a Destiny game. I won't single anybody out, but I kind of agreed with them because I tried to get back into Warframe and it just feels different. It just feels different. So with that magic quote feel of Destiny, is that going to be enough to keep players engaged enough? I mean, think about it. We're in year 11 now of Destiny, of the Destiny franchise. I'm just curious, is that what you guys, I mean, lack of content, I think, is probably what killed that game. And I think what they thought, maybe because it was free to play, that the boobies and the skin clad female characters that run around and the jiggle physics and all that stuff, maybe it was just a fad and just came and went.
I think I know some reasons. I don't know if Deadpool wants to go first or not, but I definitely think I know some reasons.
You could go, Kingsley. You could go.
Okay, sure. First of all, it wasn't as bad as Anthem. Anthem died out way quicker than First Descendant. But
I played it too.
The main thing, I did some research on this. I forgot this was the topic, but I did it a few days ago. People did play this game a lot, but attention spans are a lot shorter these days for a lot of people. Not everyone plays just one game, Todd. A lot of people like to try different games.
I can see that.
And what happened, the biggest thing with this game wasn't so much that they didn't like it. It's just that they grinded through it so fast, so many hours, you'd be surprised. And they didn't come out with more content.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the research I was doing.
Yeah.
And then to answer your question on Frontiers, yes, I am still concerned. I think Frontiers is going to be really great, but I still expect a month-ish or so after. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah. I mean, look at the turnout for Heresy. it was really good. I mean, that just goes to show if Destiny produces some good content, then people will show up to play it. What do you think, Deadpool?
I think so the First Descendant, I have a friend that actually plays it. He burned through the game really quick and he said that he just put it down. He's like he just no sense of him playing it. He plays Call of Duty more now than he did.
Yeah.
He said it just seemed, he said it was a wow factor in the beginning and then he said it just dropped down for him, and I was like, I didn't even play. I downloaded it, but I never even got a chance to play it because I was like, I'm too more focused on Destiny and Warframe because I do play Warframe from time to time every once in a while, but
and Warframe has a good amount of content, right?
It has a ton of
Warframe
content.
has a ton,
but,
and it is a free to play game.
It is,
but First Descent, it kind of got to a point I heard that there just wasn't any more content.
Yeah, so it kind of got stale. It got stale, and then I think that's what's hurting them is because they haven't come out with nothing new, and they haven't pushed nothing new. They haven't even announced anything coming out soon. Yeah. So
hey, they made they probably made their money. I mean, all the people who bought the bikini outfits, I'm sure that paid for the game right then and there. I mean, the DLC, the stuff you can buy from Eververse. I mean, I'll admit, hey, I'm raising my hand. I bought the Star Wars stuff. I mean, I'm a Star Wars geek, man. I've watched Star Wars ever since the original game. You tell me I'm not going to have you tell me I'm not going to fly around with a TIE fighter that makes the TIE fighter noise when it's flying in orbit? No, I've got to have that. I mean, that I won't probably ever take that off, by the way. But that leads me to my next point. Since you said that, they didn't have any, and that was the same problem with Anthem. They ran out of content to play. But my second point, and the reason I did not play the First Descendant was when you wanted to grind for stuff, that they would make you wait like a whole day for it to come back from the printer or whatever the machine was you put it into to get whatever you were trying to craft to play more and upgrade your character. This brings me back to my good old topic that Kingsley and I may not exactly see eye to eye on this, but I mentioned in the Discord on past shows that games need to respect the player's time. The guys at Generation X Gaming, they say this all the time, and I can't agree more. And I don't want to put words in their mouth, but this is definitely something they talk about a lot. And those guys are about my age too, so they've played the video games all in the past as far as I did. And I'm an older gamer, and a lot of us have jobs. A lot of us have limited time to play and where to decide to apply our time. And usually for me, it's all about the loot. If there is a weapon or a cool cosmetic or even a badass exotic piece of armor, that's what will get me to invest the time to grind for it. And don't get me wrong, Kingsley, I know I love the story as well, but you can only play out that story one time. So what is in the game that will keep you playing? I mean, you last week played Iron Banner to get that one weapon that you wanted for PvE. Case closed. I mean, that was one of the reasons.
Okay. I very rarely do that.
Okay. You don't, you do rarely do that.
Prefer content.
And when I heard you played Iron Banner because you wanted that trace rifle, I was like, maybe there is something to this loot thing, but it is a looter shooter game. And if we're not continuously chasing loot in Destiny 2, then why are we playing the game? So all I'm asking is, like, for instance, the 18th Ingram farming, and I finally got the trace rifle I needed from Iron Banner, and I don't know if I'll use it or not, but I have it. But at what point do we decide that after 30 tries in a raid, when we don't get the damn shotgun in the Ron raid, do we decide to just say hell with it? I don't need it that bad, At what point, where does Bungie tweak it where at least it'll default to a mission or something where we put the time in? Now here's a direct mission you can play if you really want to get that exotic and you've put your tries in to try to get it. That's where I think Bungie goes wrong a lot of times. And I have a third point, but I want to let you guys comment.
Well, this is funny because, again, the people they did grind and get all those weapons tons and tons of time in First Descendant. They didn't leave because of that. They liked the grinding. They left again because there wasn't more content. So it's different for everyone. Some people like actually a free-to-play game because they don't want to spend as much money up front and they have, you know, there's kind of these things in our life. When you're young, you have less money and more time. When you're older, you have more money and less time. So in different age groups and in different personalities, there's different ways to value your time. So we can't make a general statement for everyone. We can only say what works for us.
Yep.
And I think there's a lot of people that Warframe does respect their time, or games like First Descendant does respect their time. They didn't leave because they didn't respect their time. They left because they got everything now and they're bored and there's no new content.
I heard content creators that said, I tried, it never dropped for me. And I said, fuck it, I'm done.
Oh yeah, there are some people like that, but that's you can't think that's the majority or everyone. That's all I'm saying.
But my question is how long do we pull down on the slot machine until finally we're just like, you know what, I'm broke?
You obviously not that much, but a lot of people are okay doing that for a long time. Yeah.
Different players.
There's some people out people out there that just want to keep on continuing chasing for those weapons. Like for example,
I don't mind that.
Like the Vex Mythicast. I got on my third run, but you know, there's other people that still haven't got it, but they're still trying to do it. And now that they added red borders to
craftable weapons, imagine that.
Now makes it even more, gives me more incentive to come into it. So I feel like with all this, having that extra loot and stuff like that, and making things different, like bringing back craftability too and RNG. I love both. Like, don't get me wrong, I like both. Because I'm gonna grind for the weapon either way. I'm gonna go grind for the weapon. As far as those other two games, Warframe, I had no problem with the crafting in Warframe. Yeah, it does take. There's some things that take long.
Mm-hmm.
Some things you got to wait a whole day for. But sometimes it's worth it because you can go and do something else. Just because you're trying to get one character, unlock another character or another, thing in that game, you can go and start collecting for another character or collecting for another tenno, like they say. So you can actually. You can do stuff like that. Oh, it takes 3 days, Scarlet. It can take up to 3 days, but some of the stuff like it doesn't take long. Some of it doesn't take long. Some of it's fast. Some of it does take long. So it's you have to have patience sometimes. If you're patient with the game and you love the game, you're gonna do whatever it takes for you to get what you want to do and play out that game.
But then for like me, I don't like that as much with free-to-play games, but I get it why other people do. For me, it's just more like I would rather, it's not so much the patience of getting something on an RNG drop, but I would rather just do an activity over and over, eventually get the RNG drop, rather than waiting to craft something, having to wait a day or whatever, where I can't be doing another chance right now. I don't want to be waiting time-wise. I want to be waiting activity-wise, doing another activity. And so for me, that doesn't work as well, but I totally get why other people, because it's a free-to-play game and there's so much content, and especially when you're younger, I'm not saying older people wouldn't be into that, but I think these games can be really appealing because you have so much stuff you can do for free. And if you're willing to just put the grind in, it's worth it for you.
All right, I'm going to say it again. I know that Bungie's walking back its stance on crafting seasonal weapons and doing things a bit differently by showering us with more loot, like you said, in the Nether, on the Dreadnought, but getting more chances for that role you're looking for. Will that work in the future, or does Bungie need to continue to offer crafting? Because here's the thing. I've got some really good roles from the Nether, and I'm like, great, got it, put it in my vault. When I'm ready to use it, I'll grab it. But what happens when Bungie decides to switch up the sandbox and all of a sudden that weapon's garbage? That's the only reason really why I really think they should allow crafting with everything in the game. Whatever we want to decide to grind for to get. I mean, if red bars are really tough to get, I mean, one article was stating this week that why do they still have harmonic balancers in the season pass when they don't have seasonal craftable weapons anymore? Because there's weapons I still don't have all the frames for that I want to craft, and I've been saving those up. I've been hoarding those things, just deciding what I want to get. There's a lot of raid weapons that I still want to craft as well, especially from Deepstone Crypt. And of course, now we have the Vault of Glass weapons that are craftable, and that's driving a lot of traffic there. But can you imagine if tomorrow or next week, they say, listen, guys, we got a big surprise. We've been talking about this big quality of life change coming up. And starting tomorrow at reset, everything in the game is craftable. Do you not believe that that would create so much more content instantly in the game? And how many people would drive to get those weapons and get those frames, and then not only get the frames to be able to craft it, and then have to level the weapon up so they can have all the variety of enhanced perks and stuff that they want to add later? Wouldn't that create like instant, to me, there's
Definitely for some people. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree for some people, because there's some people
Not
that I
everyone.
know that
Yeah.
there's some people I play with in my clan that hate the craft. They hate crafting weapons.
I
They
don't
rather
understand why.
do RNG. They rather get the the RNG drops. And then I got other people in my clan that like crafting, and they're like, oh, let me go craft this. And it's, but you got to remember, is everybody's perspective is a little bit different on how
Exactly.
they like
Yeah.
to play the game.
And that's okay to be different, but you can't think that your idea should be the way for everyone. It's like, just
Well,
because I think it's right, everyone thinks that way.
well,
But
here's the thing, Kingsley. If they brought back crafting, guess what? You're still going to have drop random weapons,
RNG,
and they may not
still
have red,
random.
and they may not have. And guess what? Another part of RNG is getting that red bar. And to me, when I get a red bar weapon, I'm like, oh, let's hang on to this one. Let's go ahead and strip this this weapon frame off, because that means I have 4 more I got to find so I can finally unlock and craft this weapon. And I've mentioned it in several shows ago, and I don't want to be the one that beats the drum all the time. I wish I could get off this
yeah, you
topic.
do.
I still do. I know. Probably going to
Yeah,
drive.
you do.
Kingsley will probably have enough one day and just drop his mic and say, I'm out of here. But
No, I never will.
but my point is why can't we have both? Why can't we have, for people who want to grind out the frames, have the craftability? And when the sandbox changes, whether it's in the Nether or whether it's in Crucible or whatever, or this new event that they're going to talk about next week for Act 2, if they decide to, and they always do changes mid-season for all the weapons and a lot of the perks on the armor and stuff, it just makes sense to me. It's such low-hanging fruit, man. It really is. And then guess what it does? As an ancillary benefit, you're alleviating all of that vault space. Right now that I have 5 of these random drop weapons with all kinds of different roles, depending on how I want to use it. And if, just in case, the sandbox decides that perk is going to be God tier next season, that's what holds me back on that. And I'm just saying, why can't we have both? I mean, we have in the raid.
Well, you did answer that kind of.
Yeah, well, in the raids, they're making raid weapons craftable, and that's one way to drive people to go back and play the old raids, and that was great. It's a great thing they did that.
I think
And with a new
how
perk.
I'm sure they were really thoughtful on it. They are still doing both. I know not the way you want. I fully admit that, but you just have to wait to do the craft. They said that in future seasons, the weapons that were RNG only will then eventually be craftable. I feel like I get it. You can't make everyone happy, and this is not like this idea is better. I'm just saying I feel like it's what I prefer, but I'm not saying it's better. It's only better for me. But I feel like Bungie was probably thoughtful about it. It's not like they just, we're just going to throw shit at the wall. Like, if they were just throwing shit at the wall, then they probably would have gone purely one way or the other. But the fact that they actually thought it through, and you're like, okay, the game started as a RNG looter shooter. That's its base mentality. They introduced crafting later, but they felt like maybe they did a little too hard on that. But now they're kind of in this middle ground where it's still RNG at first in its base sense, but it will eventually be craftable, getting those weapons later. I know you don't like that. I'm not saying it'll even stay that way long term. I don't think it's going to be changing this quickly, though, because the fact that they wrote that statement, it was in November or whatever, not too long ago, I really can't see it changing yet. But maybe ask us in another year, it might change then. So you can't say they don't have both. They just don't have both as quickly as you want. The crafting comes later. It doesn't come at the same time.
But another thing I'm referring to is they've had 2 really good world drop weapons, brand new weapons this season. One of them I got, and it dropped when I turned in an Ingram at the Cryptarch, and it actually has a good roll. It's called Admetus D. It's a scout rifle. It's a 150 high impact. It has withering gaze and rapid hit, which that sounds like a lot of fun to use. And it is void, which is going to go great with my Nova builds and my my destabilizing round stuff. in my Devour builds and for my Warlock. But what about those weapons? That's just strictly RNG. And from what I hear, there's an SMG that's pretty decent too. That's out there.
Yeah. All the new stuff is RNG right now, and then it comes craftable later.
I'll see it when I'll believe when I see it.
They're trying to focus on having people enjoy the weapons. What I think, instead of everybody grinding to get the crafted ones, they want you to enjoy all the different perks and all the different things that you can get on the weapons. Because if you just go craft the weapon and right away, you don't really get to try out the different perks. You don't really get a feel for all the different perks and see how they actually work.
You can, but you're right. You're probably going to only go after a couple of god tiers or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Because most people, when they craft weapons, what do? They go for a god roll. They just craft a god roll most times.
Yeah.
And they don't even try any of the other perks that come with the weapons. So I think that's why they're trying to limit it to that, so that way you can actually try all the different perks.
I thought about that before. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, if you think about it,
yeah,
you have like weapons are always upgrading, like especially when they rebring like the Nightfall weapons.
Mm-hmm.
They always changing something in the Nightfall weapon.
Yeah.
Like we just talked about Paladron, how they switched to Arc.
Yeah.
You know, it was void. It was a void.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of weapons used to be different perks, like the Aikilo's hand cannon. You could change that. You could change it to solar. You could change it to arc. You could change. I still have one of each. And when they change it now, it's void. It's straight void. So, but I think what it is they're trying to get you to feel the different perks and stuff like that before they actually allow you to, hey, now you can go create your own god roll. Like, okay, yeah, crafting, we will eventually let you craft the weapon, but we want you to try all this versus everybody just getting all the frames and then making the god roll.
And there's precedents, like in raids, the old raids that admittedly may not be around anymore, but it used to be you could only get those weapons by RNG drops in the raids. But now things like Anarchy and things like that, you can eventually get them other ways.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like they haven't done that already in the past with like, there's only certain ways to get things at first, but then they make it easier later on. You know, Trials, there was only one way to go to the lighthouse at first, but now it's easier.
That's a prime example of respecting the player's time. I've used that.
Yep. I think there's so many different viewpoints on this topic. We could talk about this topic.
And like I said, I mentioned I would keep it on the rails. I did have a few questions for you guys though, regarding Frontiers coming up. I mean, because this is supposedly the new saga coming up, right? We're kind of in a holding pattern right now, just kind of a prologue. We're kind of just going through the motions. You know, they're creating some fun activities. The Nether is a lot of fun. I've run it several times with Sen and Kingsley, and I've had a lot of fun playing it. I have.
We should do an expert sometime. It's not that hard. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I will.
And you get twice the loot.
And one thing it's definitely with the craftable weapons in Vogue and the other raids as well. I've gotten the itch to raid again. And I want to start, what I'm thinking about doing is I want to start having like a weekly raid. And I know there's some people in our Discord that run raids every week with groups, bringing new people in and running stuff. And that's fantastic.
And shout out to all those people, great Sherpas and stuff. I've been doing less Sherping these days, but I'm glad there's so many people in the Discord that love raiding still and doing all that.
But I'm getting that itch again to start jumping into a raid. Now, when I say jump into a raid, I'm not talking about spending 3.5 hours helping 5 people get through a raid. I just don't have the time to do that anymore. But what we're thinking about doing is having like a dedicated raid team or a raid team of people who definitely know and run the raids and can get through things, and maybe bringing in maybe 1, possibly 2 at the most, of someone who has never run the raid before that wants to run through it. And we did that with, was it Barrel Barley couple weeks ago on the Vault of Glass? That was a lot of fun. We ran through it quick. We all 5 of us knew what we were doing, but we left enough space for Barrel Barley to enjoy himself, and Allocate and Ronan and was it HD Tech? HD, was he in there too? We had a lot of great members in there that all took turns explaining all of the parts of the raid, and I thought that was a lot of fun. But the days of unless it's like a day 1 raid, the days of running into raids and spending 3 hours in there, I just can't do that anymore. But I'm really getting the itch to get more of a dedicated team together. And I think we've been kind of working on it on the back end. We're not there yet, but to possibly,
now that
Yeah.
do have the craftable weapons, I'm glad for you, and let's get you in the raid and get you all those weapons that you want.
Still to this day, it's a hard number one, number two, but I love the Garden of Salvation raids. They sound good. They may not be the meta, but they look fantastic. I like the Vex architecture on those weapons, the glows underneath them. But the second one would be, there's a lot of Deepstone Crypt weapons that I want. I want to craft the hand cannon. That's the only hand cannon I really like to use because the sight is beautiful on it. Also the scout rifle,
Sniper and machine gun.
Yes,
all of them pretty much are good, but yeah.
I mean, there's so many.
My main weapon from Vault of Glass I'm going to be chasing is going to be Fatebringer. I love Fatebringer.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite hand cannons.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why I want to go into Vault of Glass, just to get that.
I had a God Roll Fatebringer from when I ran it when it returned to Destiny 2, and I just hung on to it. But I don't use hand cannons a whole lot, so I think it ended up getting destroyed. But my point is we're getting into a new saga going into Frontiers here, and I'm just a little trepidatious, and I'm a little worried that, man, if it falls flat, if it's not really something that really gets us excited, a new bad boss, a new reason to jump in and kick ass and keep. I think the one thing they're going to have to do, Kingsley, and you see if you agree with me here, I think the days of open-ended stories like the old Destiny, I think those days are gone. They're going to have some kind of linear story. If anything, if we got anything from Final Shape, is the fact that campaign was so damn linear, and they wanted you to stay in there and finish it before you did anything else in the world. That was fantastic for me. The fact that you had to follow a story to an end.
But they did say we're not following. Isn't it more open-ended, right?
Yeah.
Well,
you could choose a route you want to go, and you could do whatever step first before instead of going, you do it a little bit differently.
But as long as
that's at the same time, I just want to see how that's going to actually work, because it sounds good on paper. It sounds good on paper, but we don't know, because Bungie has let us down a few times with some of the content. Don't get me wrong, I love playing Destiny as my main game, but they have let us down sometimes, especially around Christmas time. Christmas time, they let us down horribly this past year.
Yeah.
With all the bugs and everything like that. But, I can't just blame Bungie because, they did let go of a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, there's so many things that make it, some people like, oh, so Bungie's doing this, and then, oh no, it's so it's so many different things that can make it go wrong. But I'm looking forward to it. My son, who used to play with me, my 17-year-old, well, he's going to be 17. He doesn't find Destiny interesting anymore because, one, he doesn't want me paying for 2 copies, one for me, one for him.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't find the crafting that appealing. He likes it, but he doesn't find it appealing. And he told me he's like, don't even worry about getting Frontiers. He's like, don't worry about getting Frontiers for me, because he's too focused onto what's the other Fortnite. He's too into Fortnite right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting a little bit worried about what might be coming up with Frontiers too. I always try to be cautiously optimistic, but I feel like we should have had a big, not like maybe a big drop or trailer, but something by now. I feel like in previous years we would have gotten a little more information by now. And there's rumors that it might be getting delayed again, like July instead of June. And I just feel like we're not getting enough information yet, that I'm starting to get a little bit worried too. They gave us a lot of good information at first, but I'm like, I'm optimistic, but at the same time, I'm kind of worried. Like once we start getting information, it'll be something like, oh, there is another small delay. They show us a cool trailer and we're all hyped, but like we're not really seeing the proof in the pudding of what will keep us playing for more than just a month. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of content.
It's like the previous episode, episode 2. I did not like it at all. Like it was
terrible. Revenant was terrible.
To me,
I
Yeah,
didn't either. Yeah.
I felt it was boring. I hardly ever did. I didn't do any of
Some
the
parts were
activity
okay,
stuff.
but
I
yeah.
did the activity stuff here and there, but once I was done, once I got everything done for it, I was
Yeah.
like, no, you know. But
Yeah.
they need to come out for another banger. They need to let the chains off. You know, let them do what they do best. You know, because I've been around since D1, first day, and you know, there was a lot of good things that they did as they progressed, and then when Destiny 2 came out, they did some good things, but then like it just felt like some things were being held back, and you know, and then all of a sudden they
Yeah.
came out with some good content, and then next
Yeah.
thing you know, they're like, okay, let's hold back, and you know, it's like just let the floodgates open. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna hurt us. Like, there's people still gonna want to play your game, you know, and but feel like there's too many buts that but that but this, you know. So you know, um,
I think a lot of that
I'm look I'm
unfortunately
looking
happened
forward
around
to
the
it.
same time they left from Activision. Maybe
Mhm.
they just have less ability to do
Well,
cool things.
it's one thing that is a constant within Bungie is how the top management has changed their minds so many times on where to go with the story. I mean, you guys have read the book, the Pixels book. They talked about how Destiny had to be scrapped and they had to come out with a whole new storyline because the first one they just didn't like. There was a lot of turmoil within Bungie when it came to that, but Bungie was by themselves. They're an independent company. But here's the thing. I think, you know, they talk about the portal system. I'm really curious about what that is. The fact that you can get quick in and out rewarding activities, you know, something you can do like jumping in before work, before heading out in the
All
morning.
the solo ops or whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to what that's going to be more
I
in
am
detail.
too.
And you know, they haven't had a developer blog in a while. They were producing them for a while there, and then all of a sudden they just kind of tapered off.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. I don't know if you heard when you had to step away, but
I had
like
to let my daughter in the house. Sorry.
I feel like why haven't we gotten more info yet? We
Yeah.
should have any other year we should have gotten some more info by now. And I'm getting a little worried. Like,
Yeah.
it's either a delay and or when we do get info, yeah, they can always make cool trailers, but when we see the proof in the pudding, it won't actually be anything really maybe that different. And maybe it'll be a really cool story and everything, but even with how cool Final Shape was, what did that last the majority of people? Only 2 months at most,
Well,
and then there was a big drop off, you know.
To be fair, it was an ending. So anytime you end a 10-year saga, of course, people are going to say, well, that's a good time to just bow out and go play something else for a change.
But because there was nothing after it.
Man, I really missed the mark on that. I thought that was going to be their moment to get people to continue in. Boy, I hit that one wrong. I fell short on that prediction. But I think this is what Bungie's got to do going into Frontiers. We need another Cade 6 moment. We need another moment that's going to shock us and jolt us out of our seat and get us pissed off. And there needs to be a new baddie that's going to be worth chasing and trying to get rid of.
I think they're cooking something up because
I hope so,
with the whole Eris Morn thing. I think they're trying to cook something up and trying to get us more engaged. But they need to make sure that they do this good. Because well, the first act or the first episode with Lashmi, she disappeared. You know, I was like, oh, really? I did this exotic mission this many times and she just gets away.
But does
you know? And then,
but to be honest, even if she didn't disappear,
I was just going to say,
was there enough content to really keep us engaged?
Do we really care enough about Eris Morn if she died? I mean, she's a pivotal character, don't get me wrong, but she's not really beloved. I mean, there's people going to email me now, but no.
But it is affecting us characters, us people that love the character.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. What
Drifter,
if
like everybody loves Drifter and they're feeling his pain and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I understand.
That's pulling those people in.
I understand.
It is a better story, regardless. Yeah.
But what if go ahead. Well, I was just gonna say, what if something happens to Ikora or Zavala or Crow? Anything can happen to him. I don't care. But you know what I'm saying? A major character that we've been following the entire time, someone on the same level as Cade 6. I don't know. I just think they're going to have to shake us. They're going to have to shake us somehow with like that Forsaken moment when we realize that things are never going to be the same. I think we got to have a boss that's going to be formidable enough. I don't know how they're going to follow up from The Witness. Maybe the they keep talking about the winter and the gardener. Maybe there's something yet we haven't seen there as far as that lore. But I mean, here's the thing. As a community, we are voracious when devouring content that Destiny and Bungie puts out. Can they keep up? And are the repeatable activities, are they going to be enough to keep people to play through this next full year of 2025? I'm just, like Kingsley said, I'm a little worried. A little
skeptical. I have one last thing to say, what something they could potentially do, and forget even the crafting thing for a second. In your perfect world, crafting can come back, sure, but like there has to be reasons for us to keep coming back, because even if you were to craft every weapon, think about this, because this goes back to the discussion with Avowed. But again, I don't think they can do this in the current system because it would break all the previous stuff. That's why I keep thinking a new game needs to be made. But imagine in Frontiers, I don't think they can do this, but imagine if we could combine classes however we want, part Hunter, part Titan, part Warlock. And to do it, it's not a quick thing. You have to keep coming back to combine it. You have to keep doing this. You have to keep doing that.
That'd be
But we
neat.
would be so excited because we could have a perfect Hunter Warlock combo. And if there was a reason for us to keep coming back to get that perfect combo, something that would keep us engaged for months. And it's always getting just a little bit better. It can't be one of these things where one day gets like 2,000% better because then, oh, we got it, we're done, right? But something like that could keep me coming back.
What
potentially, you know?
Spinful theory I had on. What if they made a fourth character where you can slowly build it, like you say, Kingsley? You can start taking traits and start picking and choosing traits from the other characters that you like.
But don't let that fourth character play the old content, maybe?
I don't know,
because I feel like it would break the game, you know, because it would be too powerful, but maybe not. Maybe, well, what they would see, this is where it comes into, they're not going to go full into it. Like what Deadpool says, if they want it to work with the old content, you know, they're not going to let you pick any combination. They're going to do like the class items where only or prismatic, you'll be picked.
They don't want to break the game.
Certain things to combine. So that's why, again, if you could make a new game or start from scratch, or don't worry about the old content with the new stuff, let us do anything then. Like, the sky's the limit, and then we're gonna have.
I think they're also limited too, because you know we still have old consoles.
Well, yeah, I know.
They're gonna have to kick those to the curb at some point. No offense to our PS4 and Xbox Ones out there, but it's time.
And even when they do, it'll take some time to develop, so little things will be good for the new system. And we're so behind on these things of like. And why they should have kicked the curb a while ago, and why they should have made a new game a while ago.
I blame the pandemic. I think the pandemic has something to do with that. I really do. I think that put a wrench in their schedule. The fact that PS5s and Xbox Series X's were so scarce. We had the chip shortage, remember?
But they were only scarce to what? Like, let's say 1 or 2, and it's still Bungie's at 5 now, 2025, and they still hadn't, they still haven't.
You could go to
made
Best Buy. You could go to Best Buy and find PS5s everywhere and Xboxes everywhere now. So, you know, granted, I know not everybody can maybe not be able to afford a new console, and they still enjoying. I still got my PS4 Pro here, but you know, I don't use it. I use the PS5 more than anything.
I don't trade mine in. I keep them. I learned my lesson.
I think what it is, I think what would help out too is if they made a new game, started fresh, and also let go. I'm sorry to say it, but let go of the old consoles. You know, start utilizing PS5 and the
new
Xbox.
Game, I think obviously would get rid of.
Yeah,
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Hazel used to say it all the time. It's not going to happen, man. There's not going to be a new game. Happen? It's not going to be a new game.
Oh well, we know that.
Yeah, we know that. But you know, if they wanted it to,
if we wanted a better world, they should have.
Here's I mean, like I said, I think in my opinion, I think when they had the chip shortage in 2020, I think that really threw a wrench in a lot of schedules as far as releasing and developing products for the better consoles. I don't know. Time will tell on that. I think they're going to have to make a tough announcement sooner or later. They're going to have to kick those consoles. Think about it. If we want to have it's not
tough anymore.
I know, but
people would be accepting.
I think so.
Except for 2 people in our community.
How long has it been? PS5? Yeah, how long has it been now? You know, And most of us have the disposable income to get a console, and it's not all of us. I realize there's some young people out there that are just getting along in life and can't afford $500. I get it. But
I think even they would be accepting that.
Yeah,
it's march of progress. It could be sad for them, but no one could really, I feel like, say like it was a bad decision for if they go next gen only.
And we have PCs now that are getting cheaper and cheaper to build and to buy, that can play a lot of the high end games at high levels at high quality. So I don't know. We'll have to just to see on that, but I don't know. We'll have to just see how that turns out. But that's kind of the crux of my, or the crux, the kind of the summation of my topic tonight is because I read that story about the first Descendant that it dropped off so abruptly, even though it was free to play, which just goes to show free to play isn't always the best method. That I worry for Frontier, and for those reasons we just talked about. So I think you guys answered the questions admirably. Thank you for that. It was a great discussion, guys. Great discussion.
If they want to be successful, they should find out from Fortnite what did they do successfully, because Fortnite is still kicking and still doing it, and they're free to play. My son always asks, every week, he's like, "Can I get $9? Can I get $9?" And I'm like, "What for?" And he's like, "Fortnite." And I'm like,
"Yeah,
dude, no, I'm not going to be paying, not going to be shoving money out into this game." But
I think the reason Fortnite is still so good is because so many kids grew up on that game because it's been out so long. I mean, if you grew up playing, I don't know, I grew up playing Space Invaders. I mean, if they had stuff where I could keep adding into that game, I would probably do it too. I mean, I bought latter versions of Space Invaders as consoles came out because of the loyalty to that game. I don't know, but yeah, JD Kent, the young kids wasting all the money on fondue. I don't think a lot of young kids know what fondue is. That is a good comment.
I keep not checking YouTube as much.
I know
his comments.
No, I've been showing it on screen when people are commenting. I try to keep everyone involved that shows up. And,
I know I'm more on the Discord, but I just saw that right now too. And
yeah,
he was also saying earlier how a lot of younger people may not know what fondue is. We should have described it more earlier, but
Hey guys, great topics tonight. I know we're all a little bit under the weather. I felt a little sluggish tonight too. I apologize for that, but thank you everyone in the Discord and the YouTube channel for coming out tonight. Even though Deadpool 1 Merc was late, I won't let you live that down, man. Yeah.
No, you're good. You're good.
Hey, brother.
To be honest with you, I took a nap and the nap was so good.
I said, if he fell asleep, son of a bitch, if he fell asleep.
Hey, I'm glad you made it because it was a really good episode and discussion.
It was. It really was. So. It really was. Hey, Deadpool, if people want to get a hold of you out there, man, how do they do that?
I'm on Discord right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm slowly but surely going to be starting up my Twitch soon. I'm just trying to get all the pieces together. Just had to take some time to figure all that stuff out. But you can find me on Discord. If you ever need any help with anything or just need somebody to talk to, reach out to me on there. Yep. My gamer tag is Deadpool1Mark on PSN. So if you want to friend me, you can friend me on there too. If I don't friend you right away, just give me a little bit of time because I do security, so I'm always working. So, but I'll try to add you guys as soon as possible. And if anybody has any questions about mental health or you feeling down, let me know. I'm here for you.
Absolutely, man.
Excellent. Thanks, man.
Kingsley Mac, where can people find you, sir?
Yeah, and I was going to give a shout out to another group, but even though I shouted out Blueberry last week, I have to shout it again just because we're talking about veterans and mental health and stuff. And I know other groups have veterans also, but I know Blueberry Lounge is really big.
They're big on it. A lot of military guys over there.
Job. Shout out to those guys.
Yeah, I've been on one of their military episodes. So great guys over there. Much love to them too.
Yeah.
So I just felt appropriate shouting out, but less importantly, you can find me everywhere as Kingsley Mac. In game, I'm Kingsley, but everywhere else, I am Kingsley Mac, and a little bit on Blue Sky and Twitter. But hey, find me in the Discord. I'm around.
You guys know where to find me. It's Todd the Gator, 2 Ds, GATR. If you're in the Discord and don't know about my YouTube channel, come on over and subscribe and join us one night over there as well. We try to talk to both sides of our community here, and it was actually Kingsley's idea to stream live in the Discord stage because you guys did it a lot with the Guardian Hub. And I'm glad you talked me into it because I like being able to talk to both parts of the community here. So thanks for that.
gets more audience because I am seeing some people that are only ever in YouTube, and I'm seeing some people that are only ever in Discord. So I think it's working out pretty good so far.
Yeah. And
I'm normally in both, so sometimes I start off in the Discord and then I switch over to YouTube afterwards.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah, JD Kent, great show. Do more live streams on raids or Crucible. Yeah, I do want to do that, man. As me and Kingsley are both, I can't speak for you, Deadpool, but we're both introverts, and with introverts, we love doing stuff with people. Don't get me wrong, we love to be social, but there's times that we have to just recharge. And I'm not, I could never make it as a streamer because mentally I would be exhausted. And the other night I did play some when we played Iron Banner with the community. I got my ass handed to me live, and that's a gut punch. I'm used to at least holding my own in Crucible, and I was not having a good night. So I apologize for those of you who stuck through that stream because that was not very stellar. Yeah, zombie. It was rough. It was not a stellar stream for me, but I left it going. So, but another thing too, just on the abstract thought here, I have decided on my other podcast on the side now that Destiny Help Desk is kaput, and we'll still have the great news is we'll still have Destiny Help Desk segments at the end of the show and post for our audio listeners out there. So that's great because we still will put out and Kingsley and I have been putting out more build help. We've been trying to put more stuff out there to help the community that, especially those of you who may not have played a lot of Destiny like we did, but I'm putting the final touches on it, and I'm starting to build some episodes up, and just want to let you know, you'll hear about something soon about that. It won't be immediately, but just letting you know that it is still out there on the burner. So just want to mention that I've been doing a lot of back end work on that new podcast, and it's not going to be a long podcast. It'll be like half an hour weekly, and it's going to be something totally off to the right, totally 90 degrees off from what I do now. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you guys when I decide to get everything released. So again, thanks everybody for hanging out tonight. I'm going to call it there. I think we all need a good night of sleep. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in the Discord. Later, Guardians.
Have a good one.
Later.
What button do I press again? I never can remember.